Hello friends and welcome back. Now we actually shot this piece yesterday and found out that I had my camera in some weird setting and I shot the whole thing in slow motion. Now our videos are kind of long and slow enough as it is, so we won't torture you with that. We'll give it another go here today. Holly, where are we headed?
Today we're headed to Phnom Penh, Cambodia. So we leave Saigon and we head to Phnom Penh, and here we start another group tour. Just to be aware, we are going to talk a bit at the beginning of the video about the killing fields and the Khmer Rouge. So for younger viewers, maybe just be a little bit aware of that.
We do end on a lighter note as we take an adventure on a bamboo train, which is as sketchy as it sounds, but you get to enjoy it from the comfort of your armchair. Jump aboard. Let's go.
In Vietnam, we were just a little bit lazy about trying to book everything ourselves and figure it all out. And this tour just kind of lined up in Vietnam with everything we wanted to see. And we started looking at Cambodia. And really all we had known that we wanted to do in Cambodia, or how we'd really researched, was Angkor Wat. And we were a little bit worried we're going to hit Cambodia at Christmas time. We didn't know how busy things were going to be, prices were going to be. And of course, another G Adventures tour popped up. So perfect timing. Did kind of more than we had thought we wanted to do in Cambodia, so we got a really good coverage of the tour. What all did we get up to?
Well, we're going to split this into about 3 episodes. I'll show a little map overlay here of where all we hit. This episode, we're going to focus around the Phnom Penh area and get to the killing fields, as well as up to Battambang, where we ride the bamboo train.
Our tour started off on a bit of a somber note. First activity was to drive out to the killing fields just outside of Phnom Penh. Here is one of the many sites that the Khmer Rouge used for their executions. During their rule, about a quarter of the population of the country was killed, either execution, torture, starvation. About 60% of that was execution. And this was anybody that had to do with the previous government, any intellectuals, doctors, teachers, anybody even wearing eyeglasses, because they were considered to be an intellectual.
Our visit here included some of the mass graves that our tour guide showed us. There's also a stupa memorial there with a lot of the excavated bones and skulls from this site. Our bus then took us to S2E18, which was a former high school converted to a prison under the Khmer Rouge, where folks were held and tortured, often prior to their execution. We also had a chance to meet one of the very few survivors of the prison and picked up a copy of his book. Between him and our tour guide for the day, like Holly said, it was a pretty somber day, a pretty heavy day, and an interesting way to kick off a group tour that we were all quite excited and looking forward to some fun times, but also a really, I think, necessary introduction to this country we were about to visit to give you the context of their recent history. So much appreciated. With that covered, however briefly, let's shift to a lighter note here and talk about one of my favorite things, beer. And not only beer, free beer. We landed in Phnom Penh and the first national brand that we discovered was Crud, which I think it's actually pronounced more like crude, but I like to say Crud. I enjoyed their slogan, good time for a Crud. I liked it so much. We actually found one of the retail outlets and I tried to find myself a t-shirt, but like everything over on this side of the world, I couldn't find anything big enough.
As if the beer wasn't cheap enough, they had this competition. On all the cans, you took off the tab, and there was usually a prize underneath. And I think about 50% of the time, there was a prize. It usually just only like a little bit of money off of the already cheap beer, or it was a free beer. And by the end of the tour, we had amassed a lot of free beer. So before New Year's Eve, our guide took us out, and we put all our tokens together, and this was a picture of our pile of free beer. Our tour departed Phnom Penh and we headed north to Battambang. Here we did a tour. The first tour we did here actually was of Sampov Mountain. And this is where there's a huge Buddha statue kind of into the rock. Actually, they're still working on it, so it's pretty cool. And then we went up the mountain, saw some sights, as well as we waited around at the bottom where there's kind of a cave that a lot of bats live in. So you wait to dusk to see them all come out. This kind of was reminiscent of when we were in Carlsbad Caverns. And we'd actually gone there at dusk, waited around, and we didn't see very many bats. I mean, it was early in the season and there are migratory bats there. Here, not the case. Thousands of bats. It was really cool to see.
Also near Battambang was our opportunity to ride a bamboo train. Now, these were invented after the Khmer Rouge had destroyed a lot of the country's infrastructure, and locals found that they could use the old rail tracks and build their own little train cars to get their supplies out to the farm, get their products into market. Used it for transport, apparently even transported cows on this, which is pretty wild if you ask me, getting a cow on one of these. So step one was to read the safety sign and realize we were in for a spicy adventure perhaps. Step two was to watch them actually assemble the train before your eyes. So they rolled out the axles, then they put the bamboo bed onto the axles, and finally you install the small motorbike engine that's going to propel you down the track. And off we went. We get this, having seen how it was built, we get up to about as high a speed as I cared to go on these. This was quite the adventure. Here's a few shots as we take off down the tracks on a bamboo train.
Journey, we actually had to disassemble and get off the tracks a couple of times. Once for a real train and another time for kind of a maintenance cart. So there is a reason for the disassembly quickly and the put back on the track quickly.
And a good reason for keeping your eyes peeled for oncoming traffic.
So that's about a wrap for where we're at in Battambang. Where are we off to next?
So we got some lighter adventures here in Cambodia coming up in the next 2 episodes. Next up, it is Holly and Craig Tomb Raider edition. We're headed to Angkor Wat and a nearby tomb where Angelina Jolie starred in the movie Tomb Raider. After that, we also have been teasing a bit about some of the culinary delicacies. Do we have a chance to sample rat? Perhaps we'll try a tarantula. Looking forward to sampling some of the delights here in Cambodia in the next few episodes. Do stick around. We'll see you soon.